everybody, to the Tapped Out Podcast Network. I'm Nick McDaniel. He's Myron Fancher. Man, how the heck are you, buddy?
I'm okay. How about you? How about you? Saw all the pictures of your fun you had this weekend. Well, I was suffering.
I was suffering Sunday morning. We'll leave it at that. It was a rough night at the office for sure. It was fun though. So everybody's wondering, like, hey, you got Myron on Tapped In? I'm like, yeah, man, got to catch up, man. With all the,
Yes.
over the past weekend with WrestleCade, so we're just going to catch up here, do the double whammy this week. Huge surprise next week. Something never been done before on the Tapped In show.
Ooh.
Big surprise guest. So I really highly encourage the fact that you probably want to be signed up to Patreon to get that one early. I confirm. Hopefully, we're crossing our fingers. The guest. Hey, Myron, guess what?
Yeah. What?
I lined the guest up at WrestleCade.
Hey, it's a networking supreme, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely the best. I think again, never been done before. 2 guests. Hopefully, we get them both lined up. Make sure everything squares up. Because obviously, if you are a Patreon member, obviously, show notes at $1 level, all the other stuff. But the $5 level, you actually would get the show early, so you're going to see the surprise of who the 2 guests are next week. And of course, at the $25 level, you get that physical 8.5 by 11 autographed. And just so you know, I have them already. I just got to get the December one signed and get those sent out as soon as possible. But I always try to give you till the 7th, of the month to be a paid member before I get them all shipped out. So sign up as soon as possible and get your 8.5 by 11. And there's a little birdie told me there might be a bonus for the month of December for everybody.
Oh,
yeah. So
Merry
we'll see.
Christmas
We will
already.
see. Before we jump into this, because obviously at WrestleCade, one of the big things obviously is, you do the thing during the day. We do all of the, the meet and greets and the get the autographs and all that kind of stuff, whatever. But it seems like usually we're done by lunchtime.
Yes.
We bail out and then we all kind of go to a bar or go to a restaurant, Mellow Mushroom, small batch. They did not a paid endorsement or anything like that. Or we end up in somebody's room or, at a whatever, and we're watching the football game. Meant to ask you, because we haven't talked at all about college football. And I was going to ask you, did you catch any of the stuff this weekend? Catch any highlights? Thoughts in Georgia kind of basically, I don't want to say backdooring into the championship game, but the SEC championship, they kind of backed right in.
Georgia alumni, I love to see it. Whatever it takes, just get us in there. Alabama, though, that's going to be a tough one. But then again, Nick, that's the only team we didn't beat. Okay? We beat Ole Miss. And here's my better question. Why don't they just wait till the final end of the season before they switch coaches? Why do they do it with games left?
So you don't really have a choice in the matter. It's a great topic of conversation. If I pull off that betting show that we started last week, if we do it this week, I may bring this topic up with those guys.
Please ask them.
All athletes. But no. But I do know the answer. I jokingly say like I'll get their opinion on it, but I do know the why. So people don't understand that the transfer portal window, it opens and closes before the actual playoffs end. So even players have to decide if they're on a team that makes the playoff, but they know they're jumping into the portal and leaving, they kind of have to do it before the playoffs are over too. Because you got to remember, there's also it has to do with that. The portal window being earlier. So, like, we're having the conversation about Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin has to move to LSU because he has to focus on trying to take kids that are in the portal to get them to come to LSU. By the way, he's taking his offensive coordinator with him. Oh, by the way, he's taking the strength and conditioning coach with him. There are going to be some players that leave Ole Miss and go with him to LSU. But here's your problem. You got to get into the portal because you also got to get signed into the new school in time.
Oh, to start the new semester.
Okay. Because if you're not a student.
Semester.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you because you want to be there for spring practice. You want to be there for the summer. You know what I mean? So, and you obviously can't be at practice if you're not a student.
Yeah. Georgia students have to go to safe driving classes. I did have Auburn, Alabama on a small screen while I watched. That's the greatest thing about watching on a computer and multiple screens. Watching Survivor Series here, Auburn, Alabama was here. So good to see them lose. I enjoyed it great, the best I could. Stuck here, work, that kind of thing, family stuff. My mother's still in the hospital. I had to go visit her on Thanksgiving. That kind of thing. It was a lot, but I wish I'd have been there with y'all, but I had business to take care of. I did watch as much wrestling as possible. I got to see the YouTube of the first thing we're going to talk about tonight, the YouTube video. And just did what you could, man. Ate way too much wherever I went.
We actually turned out. We jokingly did not know this. This is funny. Right before we started recording, we both ended up going to the exact same place on Thanksgiving Day and had no idea.
We're always late doing stuff.
We were there super quick, got in, got out. We were there for a while, but we couldn't have missed you by too much, to be honest with you. Shout out to my buddy Frank Gergley. He runs the Land Shark Grill out there at the Margaritaville, Lake Leonard Islands. Big buffet they did out there. I recommend checking it out, man. It's just go out there. Hey, it was super handy. I don't know if you saw. They would shuttle you up and down with the golf cart.
We got shuttled up. I didn't know we had to get a shuttle down, but we got shuttled back to the car, which was good because we were all waddling.
Yeah, it was a blast, and I highly recommend again. Frank's been a buddy of mine. It's a long story that I'm not going to tell on the air. We worked together there because obviously I was there years and years and years ago, back in the mid '90s, so I've known him for that long, and he posted it, and so I was like, oh, man, let's go check this out. And we checked it out. We enjoyed it, and it was a good Thanksgiving, and, made easy. Hey, didn't have to clean up anything when we were done. We ate, we got up.
No, that was the best part. That was the best part, man.
So I agree. But, hey, man, look, that's enough football talk, and we'll get into all that stuff maybe on one of the other shows as well. But let's jump right let's kind of start looking back at the weekend that was here in Georgia. Tough weekend that, we weren't here. I wasn't here, I should say. I was in Winston-Salem. But let's talk about what went down here in Georgia, starting, obviously, Thanksgiving night. Southern Fried Championship Wrestling over in Monroe.
Yes.
Ultimate Battleground, big show. They kind of become a staple there, on Thanksgiving night.
Yes, the wonderful thing. I really have never been able to go. I've always wanted to go. I just watched the YouTube on it. Nick, it was a great show. Sometimes I forget how much I enjoy Adam Vance on commentary. It was a really good show. I love the match, the battle royal at the end where you never know who's going to be in it. I love getting to see old Manders come out there and hit his bionic elbow. I know we're going to get to Matt Griffin and Bronx later in the show, but do you think Bronx, if he chooses to accept it, will have he'll be basically the Paul Heyman son of Georgia if he goes into the business?
The irony is he's really good, specifically for his age. He's really further along than a lot of guys that have been in it for a while. Let's just go with that. We'll say that. But I think it's probably in his blood to do this, and this kind of shows it. Being involved, it's not the first time he's been involved here at Southern Fried. Obviously, there was the Manders versus Griffin feud, and he kind of played a role in that as well. So I agree. It was good to see Matt getting popped around a little bit again. Yeah. It's been a while, so like to see him get a good beat down every now and then. But anyway, let's just start at the top of the card. Jacob Ashworth defeated Nick Halen via countout to earn he got to come in the final entry spot in Battleground by losing. Halen, of course, was number one. By the way, heck of a run he had. Survived basically all the way down to the final two, then being eliminated by Dominic Stuckey, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. There was an open challenge set up by CT Keys. Michael Walker accepts, but Hunter James kind of throws out there, hey, he had accepted his video in the hot tub.
Yeah, it's a hot tub. Any kind of hot tub accepting ranks higher than any other accepting. I've read the wrestling rule book, so it's right there below timeouts. So I got to give it to him. Much agreed.
Agreed. But anyway, doesn't really matter, right? They both come up short. CT Keys is the winner of the match, and he is obviously your reigning defending Southern Fried champion. that can come into play later as we get into the. I'm gonna reference. We're gonna keep coming to Dom. We're gonna get to Dom. We're gonna get to Dom. One of the big matches of the evening. One more match. Todd Sexton. He defeated Judias. Let me ask you this. Judias did his bidding. He just went out there. He gave him the match. Todd picks up the big win. Is this it for Todd?
It was hot. It was hard. No, it's not it for Todd. Todd will never. Todd will be around.
But he told us this is it.
He's told us it was it before. Manders has told us it was it before. He'll never go back in the ring. For hell, Bill Behrens was referee. These guys don't get wrestling out of their blood. It doesn't. It just does. No matter, even if they bleed, wrestling comes out. That's what's coming out is wrestling. Okay, they just don't go away. Todd will never, in some capacity, never retire. He will be on his deathbed, helping people book wrestling in Georgia.
Well, we'll see if Kelly has anything to say about that. But Todd, kudos, and you got to tip your cap. He wanted one more match. He wanted it with Judias. Not only did he get it, he picks up the big win. If he is on the way out. Friend of the show, Dr. Joseph Brock III, cuts a big promo announcing that in December 6th to be specific, there's going to be a JBE family reunion. Some of the guys who were here with us when we first launched this thing,
yes.
It's going to be cool to see a lot of those guys back in the building, man.
I am making every effort I can to be there. I have been begging people in my family. I know you're going to be, otherwise busy with something, but I am doing everything I can. I'm working till 6. I'm going to try to get somebody to swing by, pick me up, and take me because I cannot miss the JBE reunion, Nick.
Yeah.
I love those guys.
Yeah, I will be tied up, so it'll be one I cannot make, and then once it's just not going to happen. It's going to be it's going to bum me out. That would be one I definitely would want to check out. Ultimate Battleground, that was the big match. Dominic Stuckey is your winner, as we said earlier. He gets to earn a future championship match against anybody of his choice. I'll again put a pin in that and come back to that one. We saw Adrian Hawkins return. You brought up Matt Griffin and his son Bronx. They were there, kind of played a role in it as well. Rob Adonis tried to join the approved, kind of gets eliminated, and then,
I thought he was still in the approved. I thought it was Disturbed that was not the bad.
Well, we don't know who Disturbed is.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's been accusations. There's been
I think people are confused. Thinking Rob Adonis is Disturbed, and that they've been beating up on Rob Adonis for no reason. He seems like he's always been.
He's getting a raw deal out of it, 100%. We talked about Nick Halen's big run, but let's get to the punchline here. Of this, Dominic Stuckey, he is your winner, gets to choose the champion. The natural assumption would be you want to be the Southern Fried Heavyweight Champions, one of the belts on one of the oldest promotions, obviously in the state of Georgia. However, let's not forget, Dominic Stuckey's got some unfinished business with one Hunter James. The ultimate prize, it may be a more appealing thing to Dominic Stuckey to take that title, that Classics title, off of Hunter James. Right now, it would probably mean more to him than even the Southern Fried Championship right now, because it would hurt Hunter as well as putting gold on him. But we will find out December 6th. We're probably going to find out who he is challenging. So that's another reason why you want to come check out that show specifically with the JBE reunion. So much and so much more. Again, that show is already available on YouTube.
Yes.
So go check it out. You can catch it. They do a real quick turnaround. Kudos to them for that. But their next show, again, December the 6th as well. Friday, November 28th, Squared Circle Action. They had their big show at the Royston Dome. Savage and Richard Page and their karaoke battle. Obviously no contest. Greatness Inc. attacked Savage. Shock. This is where you throw your Richard Page rant in.
I want to reserve next. Let's keep going because there's probably going to be more Richard Page stuff before I get mad.
Yeah. The Tag Team Championship, Greatness Inc., they defeated Tower and Xander Seabolt with Savage to retain those titles. They had a Georgia Heritage Championship Battle Royal. Jaden Vane wins. The last three were Ashton Martin, Jaden Vane, and Big Bad Brando. However, Scott Mason attacked Ashton Martin and kind of helped. Well, he attacked him post elimination, played a little bit into that as well. But as you brought up, you can guarantee guess. Caleb Crocker defeated TKO with a little of assistance from Richard Page. It's a first blood match, and Richard Page gave him packs of ketchup. Insert your Richard Page rant.
Condiments. The man
thought it was blood.
Condiments. I am just appalled. Just appalled. What's next? Mustard? Mayonnaise?
Hey, that's how he gets his hair so yellow.
Oh.
Mustard. There you go.
I thought it was urine.
Stevie Ray Frost defeated Nick Kalen. He is the new Friday Night Championship. By the way, first ever SCA triple crown winner. Easy for me to say. But the main event was the best of 5 series match 2. Double pin?
How does this happen? I need to see footage of this. How did they both get pinned?
The double, the German. Neither one of them get, both of them don't get their shoulders up. 1, 2, 3. Both did receive a point in the official part, so now the series is tied 2-1. And of course, the next show we're obviously going to get match number 3. Because they kind of see where we're going.
Sudden death here for Da Silva.
Right. That's crazy, right?
Is he going to extend it to? Is he going to extend it to another match? Can he make another match? This surely changes the way you book this. I mean, this happens because of usually it goes 5. This will be best of 4 the way this is looking. Oh
yeah, who knows? Obviously, their next show is December the 5th. Does Nick Halen? These are all questions. Does Nick Halen demand a rematch for his Friday Night Championship?
I would.
I mean, just Tower and Seabolt. They've lost. Listen, I know you're not a big Richard Page fan, but they've beat Tower and Seabolt now in the rematch for those tag belts. Does Greatness Inc. move on from them? Speaking of Greatness Inc., is Caleb Crocker with them now? We thought he was. You know what I mean? Like we thought TKO was with them, and apparently it's Caleb Crocker? Question mark.
I just wouldn't. I would not be comfortable with Richard Page possibly putting condiments on me somewhere during the course of matches. I'd look. You reap what you sow.
Check that show out, by the way, on YouTube as well. And again, December 5th, their next big show. Saturday, November the 29th, Coastal Empire had a massively successful show. I actually had a fan in attendance email me and tell me quite arguably could be one of the best shows they've had in a very long time. Absolute on fire. Bryce Cannon defeated Shug D. Christian Taylor defeated Cody Fluffman. That's a huge feather in the cap of Christian Taylor. Kudos to that young man.
Way to go, man.
I'm going to jump around a little bit just because of some stuff that happened. Simon Sermon defeated Hunter James. The Allen brothers defeated Better Together. They are still your tag team champions. Kevin Cantrell taps out J. Alpha Miller and becomes the number 1 contender for the Coastal Empire Championship. Probably going to hear about this again when we get to that.
Yes, I agree with that. We should hear about this again.
The Law of the Jungle match, Hakeem Young defeated Chad Skywalker and Young Mighty Joe to retain his Coastal Chaos Championship and stretch his championship now. His championship reign now has passed 1 year that he has been.
He's had that belt for a year?
It's been over 365 days. I saw the post the other day. So tip your cap. Look, a lot of people slip, on Hakeem Young. They didn't want to give him his credit, didn't give him his due. Mm-hmm. Here he is, over 365 days now as the Coastal Chaos Champion. So tip your cap to him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to come back to the Cantrell thing because I want, a lot of people have been kind of watching him kind of weave his way through between Kraken and Coastal Empire and some of the, other promotions down in South Georgia.
Yeah.
And just watching him rise to like this, I think, is a massive opportunity for him because it officially stamps him he is one of the top guys in Coastal Empire.
Yeah.
But also gives him a shot at Michael Walker to be the Coastal Empire champion. Say what you will about the awards. I'll leave it alone right there. Coastal Empire was the promotion of the year.
Yeah.
If you become the champion there, that stamps you as a place. Now, we'll see how everything plays out this year, but this makes you or breaks you. You could make Kevin Cantrell a guy who gets a lot of eyes on him across the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
So what's the next show, Myron, you ask? Kevin Cantrell, Michael Walker for the Coastal Empire Championship. The Coastal Casino Rumble, that begins to take shape at the next show. And, of course, they're on YouTube. By the way, we're starting to get into these dates when we set when the calendar, December 27th, Christmas weekend, everybody will be out of school. The kids will be out. If you're in the Savannah, Georgia, check out Coastal Empire down there.
Definitely.
Get your tickets early. It's not the biggest venue, and they do sell out.
That's great. To be able to sell out every show, that's wonderful.
GCW, they ran on Saturday as well. They were down in Buckhead at the Gotta Be Rolling Center. Friend of the show, Pat Roach, he picked up a big win there. Chris Nelms defeated Leatherface. Sweeper Jack Miles defeated Ty Rose. He is still your Georgia TV championship holder. Jacob Ashworth picked up a big win on Jay Shaw. But everybody was kind of talking about the main event of the evening. The Georgia Heavyweight Championship was on the line. Nick Halen versus Chop Top. Chop Top had to put it all on the line, Myron, basically, because he had already they were like, hey, you've had enough chances. Nick Halen was like, hey, here's how this is going to work. Chop Top cannot wrestle for the GCW champion again as long as Nick Halen is the champion, because he basically said, if I don't lose, that's what will happen. And the Game Breaker picked up that win. So Chop Top, no more title, opportunities as long as Nick Halen is the champion.
Going to force things to shift. That's good. That keeps things fresh. I like that.
Yeah. So now the questions are obviously heading into the next show. Well, then who's Nick Halen's next? Who's the next challenger? Question marks, right?
We don't have quite a roster they can put it into, man. That's
we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out quick. Check them again. They're out on YouTube. Their next show, it says January 31st, 2026 is the date that I got. If I'm incorrect, GCW will let me know. But that's kind of the date we have set for them right now. Also over the weekend, we talked about this a few weeks ago. We've now called this the 1FW block. We just cover everything that happened with one fall in one section. They ran
two shows this weekend. Wow.
Only 2 shows, Myron.
Yeah, Scott was just on break. He took a break for the holidays.
I go out of town for vacation, and they're taking vacations. 2 shows? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Saturday ran at Hartwell. By the way, if you have not seen this location, you got to check this location out. The pictures are outstanding. It's bugged me twice they've run there that I've been like either out of town or something. I can't go. Shockingly, right? Rosario Grillo's picking up wins because that's what Cartelo Grillo does. He picked up a big win over JD Inc. Kieran Gray defeated Jack Jameson. That is a huge upset. No disrespect to Kieran Gray. That just is what it is. Drago picked up a big win. Vari Morales, he successfully defended the Breakout Championship. Shocking, right? Like, let me ask you, man, because we don't, we're on different shows, sometime, and we just don't get a lot of the Vari talk between the two of us.
I can't praise this guy enough. Him having that belt and be able to defend it over guys bigger than him, guys different than him. Vari Morales is one of the most talented wrestlers I've ever seen. End of story. He's just something special. The guy has it.
And it's not shocking, right? Because we compare this Breakout title as kind of, back in the day, you've got the WWF champion. Hogan was that, and then they would have the Intercontinental champion would be your worker title or whatever. And I was like, back when this all kind of plays out, you're like, it just seems like it was meant to be that would be the case because you put your worker, Vari Morales, he's your Breakout champion.
The most entertaining man they got. He won't hear me say this because he just says I'm a mark, but I will praise him. Yeah, I will give this guy a lot of praise. Super entertaining to watch.
Yeah, and huge. I'll mention it again in a minute when we talk about the second show. Brady Booker defeated Jimmy Wild to retain the one fall heavyweight championship. Another dude that's just absolute the face of the franchise. We get it.
Yes.
It makes it. Yeah. Sunday they ran in Athens. They did the pre-hockey game. They did like a little short show right before the to kind of entertain everybody as they was coming in. Brady Booker, QT Marshall with Claudius, the Athens Rock Lobster mascot, in their corner defeated Elijah Drago and Jack Jameson. Drago looked good, by the way, in one of those frat house shirts. I don't know if you saw that picture that they put up.
I didn't see that picture. Yeah.
A little bit of controversy in this match. Listen, I'm just saying, Jameson kind of felt like he cost them the match.
Claudius?
And then he said Claudius kind of
character. In a lobster costume. Cost him the match.
Listen, in all fairness, it's not like nobody from the outside's ever been accused of costing him a match. It's happened before, and I'm not saying it didn't happen. We're just going to leave things in the past. However, there's a video out there. He was so upset by it that he attacked Michael Solar, and Michael Solar's just trying to go out there and do like a ceremonial puck drop to start the game.
Couldn't have picked a better guy. I saw Solar take a hell of a bump on the ice. I don't know how hard that ice is, but that looked like it hurt. Like he needed to be on a heating pad for weeks after that.
Because Jack Jameson clotheslined the hell out of him. That's why it hurt. He just had whop. He dropped him like third period French. I mean, he went that, but it's like shock, right? But, I've heard some grumblings. I'm going to let things play out, but I know from history, and again, we'll leave this set as it is, Jameson doesn't like it when people cost him matches.
Frat house in a college town. Not like they're not going to get a big bunch of big supporters out of that, man.
Correct.
Wow.
Also on the card, Vari Morales, we already spoke, about him. Not only does he, the night before he wrestles a big guy, defends his title. Next night, let's just do triple threats. Him versus Luka Daniels and Tyler Shoup, and he's defending titles anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to be back there. I don't think the date's been announced, so I'm not going to give the date out on the air. It was basically, this was a great little partnership thing, kind of to kick off their partnership between One Fall and what the Rock Lobsters are going to do. So, I
am really, really impressed with the amount of business acumen the people behind One Fall have. Not only have they got major sponsors, now they've got a partnership with an Indy hockey team in a college town like this. This is a big deal. People need to pay attention when people are making deals like this and to say, what can I do to make those kind of deals? Because this is how wrestling promotions succeed.
No, 100%. And it's kudos to them, So that's One Fall on Sunday. Of course, that's kind of everything for the whole week that we had sent in. So, once we have all the results, we obviously move into the next question of, we kind of ask ourselves, well, who won the week, man? And I got some good candidates.
Yes, some amazing candidates this week.
We just talked about it. The partnership, the Rock Lobster partnership kicks off. You could put One Fall there, as the winner. They won the week. We talked about it, when we discussed Stevie Ray Frost becoming the first Triple Crown winner at SCA. He's your new Friday night champion. That could be your choice.
Yep.
But I got to ask you, Myron, is there another opportunity to put somebody else in here?
Yeah, of course. Kevin Cantrell.
Yeah.
This guy has been tearing it up and tapped out with the former Rookie of the Year to become the number one contender at Coastal Championship Wrestling. How do you beat that?
That's my vote, and that's when we talked about this a little bit. It was really me wanting to kind of say the reason he won the week is of what this can be potentially for him in the long run.
Yes,
an opportunity to become the Coastal Empire champion and just kind of keep gaining that momentum and progressing and further along. So, with all due respect to all the other two that we talked about, I go Kevin Cantrell. That's who I think won the week.
I agree 100%.
Get into a few other things I wanted to talk about. We've kind of had the rumors. Obviously, everybody's going around like, hey, we've teased it for weeks here about some of the changes coming up to the show, so we wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit, kind of let everybody kind of know what's happening. Now that it's kind of become a little more, I've almost got the structure there. So basically, the January 7th version of what would be the Tapped In show still may be called that day. But we've talked about the Tapped In brand itself will probably go away, and then just everything will be tapped out episodes moving forward. They'll just be tapped out podcast episode, and then it'll be the date, and we talk about whatever. But we're gonna get rid of the Indy rewind segment, and it's gonna move into something that, something to the effect of I'm leaning the headlines. So we talk about like the big highlights of the weekend. Mm-hmm. So it won't be match by match and so much breakdown. It'll just be we're gonna hit the highlights. So it'll be a little bit more of a condensed version of the rewind. Also, we are going to get into the champion stuff here in a little bit, but this will be the last champions thing, man.
Oh,
we're going to be done.
Okay.
Basically, it's going to go out, and you're like, hey, Nick, but if you got the Power 5, if you got the hot hand, and you got the underrated and appreciated, what's the fourth thing? Because of the condensed version of the headlines, where we're not going to go through everything over there, basically the fourth week in the rotation will be, I don't know why I like this title, but I just do. The biggest thing you might have missed. It's a lot of stuff that we think is news that you probably should, you might have missed it. You might not have caught it in the headlines. You might not have whatever, but we still kind of want to draw some attention to some things that are when things are going well, but it gets maybe not all the love and appreciation it does everywhere. That's kind of where I'm sitting at right now. And also the making the drive section is going to be a little more condensed as well. Not match by match by match, as we go through kind of like we do currently. Mm-hmm. So I know people that look, tappedoutpod@gmail.com, send the questions, send some suggestions. We're always open to suggestions. We talk about that all the time. So, that's just us. Before we get into our categories, always remember the categories every single week, whether it's the Power 5, the Hot Hand, etc., all brought to you by Video Bolt. This episode of the Tapped Out Podcast is brought to you by our new partners at Video Bolt. They're a video technology company that's been around redefining content creation since 2009. Whether you're a podcaster, promoter, small business, media outlet, Video Bolt makes it easy to create professional, high-quality videos fast without a crazy price tag to go with it. They've powered projects like, from big names like Duncan, Hearst, Comcast, but their platform is built for creators just like us, so you can look just as sharp as those guys. So if you want your videos to stand out, head over to videobolt.net/tappedoutpod and use our promo code tappedoutpod to get starting today. That's videobolt.net/tappedoutpod because your video should hit just as hard as your message. That's right, man. I try to tell everybody all the time, if I can do it, you can do it. They make it super simple. As far as setting all the stuff up, whether it's the intros coming into the shows, the stuff in the background, like all of that stuff, Video Bolt does, videobolt.net/tappedoutpod. Well, man, without further ado, man, let's jump in, and we're going to kind of talk a little bit about the current champions across the state of Georgia. And there's a lot, folks, in case you're curious. So generally what I have to do, I got to pull up a spreadsheet to go over everything. Just real quick, is anything, when you look at that sheet, does anything jump off the page? Any names just grab you or draw you? Look, we already talked about, we talked about
Brady
which
Booker,
ones?
One Fall Wrestling. I'm going to give him the honor of being one of the most charismatic people out there wrestling in Georgia. If you have not seen him live, I think you owe it to yourself and to see him live and the amount of positive vibes he brings.
Look, we already talked enough about Vari Morales, right? Like we talked about him a ton. Mm-hmm. He is absolutely the well, let me ask you this. Here's a good question. tappedoutpod@gmail.com. Send your hate mail. It's coming. Vari Morales the best worker in Georgia right now?
Could possibly be, yes. Very could possibly be.
Could make the case.
Yes.
I can make the case for that. Listen, unfortunately for a lot of people, I probably would say yes. Obviously, Luke Da Silva, he's the SCA champion. We talked a little bit about that when that best of 5. Stevie Ray Frost, he's your first Triple Crown winner there. Greatness Inc., they're running him. Let me ask you this, because we're not going to go into a deep rabbit hole. Don't tell everybody why. Isis Reed, she's your women's champion at One Fall.
Yes.
Are we ever, you know what? let's put a pin in that. I'm going to ask you something.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm going to put a pin in that, and everybody's going to go, when are you going to answer those questions? Follow us on social media, subscribe to the show, become a Patreon member. You'll find out the answer. We last time we talked about champions on this podcast, Tim Bosby came up. We were asking, I was having a conversation, and I believe it was, don't quote me on this, I believe it was Jack Jameson. And it's kind of like, this guy wasn't even just came literally out of nowhere. He won the Action World Heavyweight Championship in Tennessee at another promotion. He debuted at Action Wrestling as the champion.
I like this guy. He is an incredible young talent. Someone you should keep your eye on. Yes.
CT Keys, obviously, the big stuff. You know what, man? I want to ask you. Let's focus a little bit here. Let's go down the main champions. When I say the main, it's like your promotional champion, I guess is the right word. And if you were to start looking at these and going we all in the past, it's always been the big dogs. And listen, this is perception of what people think in Georgia. So just hear me out. You've got your One Falls, your Southern Fried, your Actions, Southern Honor, Viral. I'm trying to, hit all the high notes, obviously. Coastal, we talked about. Some of the newer players who've come in over the last, little bit. Bullpen, you would say Wrestle America, Premier All-Star, obviously Apex. They've crowned their champions now. With Drago on the top. How crazy is it, too, though, that Drago and Booker both are champions across the state of Georgia, and they just had probably one of the best feuds of the year over that one fall title?
Yes, because those two are big guys that look like wrestlers, who act like wrestlers, like CT Keys. There's another guy you believe is a big wrestler. You believe in that guy just based on appearance. But Drago and Booker have had some wonderful stuff this year. I've been blessed to be able to see them in so many different venues, even if they weren't fighting each other. But having what Apex did with him becoming the champion, it was a brilliant move, in my opinion. Just a brilliant move.
Is there anybody on these titles, I know this sounds crazy because I'm looking through and there I see some. Or is there anybody on these champions list that kind of, without, again, no disrespect, but kind of surprises you? Like if I had told you in January this guy's going to be a champion somewhere, would it surprise you? Not knocking him, but just surprises you.
Well, Nerd U has a female champion with Crystal Rose. God knows I love some Crystal Rose, but she's a female champion in a men's division. You've got Michael Walker, who's a great guy, super good wrestler, but he's small. Larry Otto has QT Marshall, who's a national talent, who just wrestled the Rizzler's granddaddy or whoever that is, or wrestled with him on a pay-per-view. Southern Honor has Alexander Lev, who's probably one of the most dynamic wrestlers in Georgia, NWA talent. I can't say enough about him. But Hunter James is all over these boards in different places. It's like anytime you got a number 2, there's an above average chance Hunter James is going to be in that. How crazy is that? How much has that young man done?
Yeah, and that's the other way is Hunter James is your Jake the Snake champion. He's the Outbreak champion. He's the Classics champion, the Georgia Heritage champion. So
can he buy beer? Is he even old enough to buy beer?
Yes.
Okay.
He is finally. Although he still looks like a baby face, and I don't mean that like as in that term, just literally. Because everybody knows he's a prick, right? That's a fact. Everybody knows that. But here, man, I shout out to guys like the sweeper Jack Miles. He's the GCW TV champion. I just see how far he's come along, just in a short period of time. I first saw him down at Kraken for now him to have a title there. That's kind of what I was thinking. Some guys like that. Jimmy Wild is the GPW, the Georgia Premier champion. He had that long where he chased that title forever and finally defeated Trevor Blackwell. So lots of cool names in there. It's kind of cool. I was telling somebody to start seeing young names, Brady Booker, Lucas Da Silva, Tim Bosby, Jay Lucas, KJ Impala. I'm sorry, I'm going down through this list because I want to, like Michael Walker. You brought up as another young guy. Jimmy Wild's a young guy. Drago's a young guy. Like these are all champions. Lev's a young guy. You know, like these are champions at promotions now. Where not too long ago, it for great reasons, and I understood the whole point, the way it worked at the time. Lots of older veterans.
Yeah.
That were.
Are we seeing a youth movement? Is that it?
We've been making that case. Yeah, we've been making that case on here for a while that we just think there's just this huge wave of younger talents starting to come through here. That's good.
To everything.
And it's challenging.
Yes.
At the same time. Everybody wants to make it, but if ever, if it's a flood of talent in, it's going to make it a little more difficult to stand out.
I think younger talents are able to promote themselves better on social media. They just do that better. Look at Hunter James doing those promos from a hot tub with all his belts. He was doing look at the way Christian Taylor promotes himself nonstop and makes his own promos on his free time. Right now, the youth movement is being bolstered by places like One Fall where they can totally thrive and be trained all the time. And guys like Christian Taylor, guys like Hunter James, who are making these promos on their own time, not being forced to shoot them in the back of a venue after a show. These guys are going out there and doing this to promote themselves. And that, to me, is why you start seeing more and more young people in the front, because they draw more and more eyes. You know, they're drawing eyes to themselves because they know how to promote themselves in other ways.
Yeah. So. The only obstacle that I throw it out here, and I got pushback last time we talked about this a little bit. I said something to somebody that I personally right now feel the tag team division, as far as the champion, the tag team divisions across Georgia, I felt like maybe a few years ago we're in a better place. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying I felt like a couple years ago they were in a better place. There are great tag teams out there. You without fail, it's almost like you can go to a bunch of shows and you're going to be able to catch the infantry on a show. You know what I mean? Yeah. On a given weekend. The Teriyaki Jay Lucas team, big fan of those young guys. Say what you want about Jaden Vane and Xavier Cross, another two young guys. They're the Southern Fried champions.
He's working it. Jaden Vane is working it with Xavier Cross helping him out.
He's doing great. Ask him. He'll tell you. I mean, I promise you. He'll let you know how good he is without fail. But with that big dude behind him, they've been around a while. Country Gentlemen, they're that's an NWA talent coming into Viral. You got the Allen brothers, they're the tag champs down there. I saw them at WrestleCade. We were in an environment I didn't walk over there and talk to them.
It's busy.
It was late Saturday. I'll leave that alone. It was late Saturday. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to leave everybody alone at this point.
This is not conversational professional, Nick. I'm not here to network for this.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just going to leave everybody alone at this point. But again, with the tag teams, Christian Taylor, Trent Edwards, another young team. So my challenge would be, we went through this phase, if you remember, these tag teams that we were just so high on that we love, and, they just kind of have either retired, moved on, split up, something. And I was, it's funny. This go show how smart I am. I tell a guy like, hey man, it's really tough to make it as a single. You should do this tag team thing because there's a good chance you can make it. He's just WWE'd now, so what the hell do I know? So apparently he knew what he was talking about. Anyway, tag teams, let's throw that challenge out. And speaking of tag teams and challenges, Myron, let's move in. It's your first time ever having to sit there and kind of put your list together. This week we're doing tag teams. That's why I wanted to segue into this as we do Mount Rushmore. And if there is ever one that would ever need our more benefit, this is it. We have done tag team lists in the past. We struggle to get 10 on top 10 lists.
Yes.
And feel like we've left somebody out.
There's emotional favorites. I mean, the Rock and Sock Connection. They weren't really they were a tag team for a little bit, but Rock and Sock was amazing. I mean, how cool was that? But yeah, there's so many forced together tag teams, things like that. I don't know. I'm interested to see. You want to go first? You want me to go first? How's it gonna go?
No, man, it's you always go.
Okay.
You'll go back. Just go ahead and knock yours out real quick.
How can I not mention the Hardy Boys? Still actually wrestling. Just an absolute miracle. Still drawing. They're still working on WWE. They're working on Impact, and they did things that everything they did was imitated. Now you can't exceed that. I'm sorry. And with them, how can you not put the Dudleys in too? Two guys that absolutely were great characters that get the tables, part of the tables, ladders, and chairs match. I didn't put Edge and Christian on here because I just didn't like them as much. But I think the Hardys and the Dudleys were some of the greatest. And was it 8-time WWE Tag Team Champions, the Usos?
Yeah, I mean,
How can you leave them off? I know they're current, but how do you leave them off? And then here comes the Axe, and here comes the Smasher. Their Demolition, walking disaster. As a kid, this was the coolest thing there was Demolition for me. I love that. Now there's a lot of people I could have left, a lot of people I left out, but a lot of people, I didn't get exposed to. Just getting syndicated WWE. There was one wrestling show in Alabama that came on at like Sunday at like 1:00 and was Continental, which I love more than anything. But besides that, all I got was WWE syndicated. Y'all got all the 605 shows. So you got exposed to so many other people. And I think that really colored your list more than it did mine.
You might could argue that. I mean, but it's absolutely not. I mean, I think, because here's the thing. You said, Demolition, there's, my answer is like, no, it's Road Warriors. Like, that's the same. Everybody goes, it was like, oh, one. It's funny, too, because everybody says one ripped off the other depending on where you lived.
You were at the time. Yes.
Yeah. Like, I only know, when you saw the Road Warriors, you were probably like, wait, they're Demolition. You're like, yes. No, Demolition is Road Warriors. I caught them first time I saw them as AWA, so I associate them obviously all over the place, but that's where they became. I felt like they peaked. They weren't. That was like their just destruction. Road Warriors will always be up there. Here's the thing. I don't think it's close. I push back a lot with people and go, I don't know, man. My number 2 is Tully and Arn, and I would argue that they might be 1. Because they could work big guys, little guys. They could wrestle. They could brawl. They could, they quite arguably are some of the best. They are, in my opinion, one of the best tag teams. And here's the crazy thing is, it wasn't like it was the longest run as a team.
No.
Steiner brothers are my 3. Look, that's just a sheer because people don't realize, a lot of young people, they see Scott Steiner, they see the freak, the big jacked up dude walking around with tigers and, all of his freaks out there, holler at Jimmy. That's the Scott Steiner they see, and they don't go back in history enough and see the mullet version of Scott Steiner, who's, doing Frankensteiners off the top rope and doing crazy. Like, they didn't realize how mobile he actually was at the time. And Rick obviously was a lot younger at the time too. Yes. They were phenomenal. I would put them up against anybody. Dudleys, you said enough. I still put them there just because they've had so many title reigns and they're probably the most decorated tag team in wrestling of all time. I always will use my 5th one when it comes to tag teams. And here's the crazy thing is, it's a team that's not on the list, and it kills me to not have the Midnight Express on here with Jim Cornette.
That was the thing. A team that I really wish I would have got to see when I was a kid and they were wrestling was the Midnight Express. I've heard so much. I've listened to so much Cornette. I've heard so many stories. I've met them all. I did not get to see enough Bobby Eaton. That is one of my regrets as a wrestling fan, is not getting to see enough Bobby Eaton. But man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to leave off.
But if I had to use my more spot, it's the Rock and Roll Express. Had them sold out, hanging from the rafters, the girls screaming everywhere. And then, of course, we have a soft spot in our heart for one Robert Gibson. Saw him this weekend, by the way.
He's such a nice guy.
He wasn't there. I was kidding.
Oh,
shout out to Robert Gibson, posting all the pictures with the grandkids.
Yes,
enjoying life, dude. That's kudos. Yes. And you know my take on that right now. Yeah. I'm all that. So Hey, you missed WrestleCade. I'm like, didn't miss anything. He was with his grandkids, it looked like. So kudos. But Rock and Roll Express, they would be my more pick when it comes to the Mount Rushmore.
I agree.
Again, if you disagree, it's all right, man. tappedoutpod@gmail.com. Send your hate. If you're a Patreon member, you can just message us on there. You can email us at tappedoutpod@gmail.com. I think we're going into a big time right now where I do recommend being a Patreon member, even if it's just a free member, because we talked about it. We're going to be getting into that segue where the Indy Rewind and the Making the Drive stuff. When we pull back those other, we go to the headlines and we rein back the Making the Drive stuff. That stuff, I'm probably going to put it for free on there, so you'll still be able to go find your local shows as well. The social media posts are going to be there, so don't lose your minds, the posters or whatever. And I want to throw out the disclaimer here to this, I make these Making the Drives posts. I didn't miss your show. You didn't send me anything. I've always told people that if I have it by 5 o'clock on a Monday, I'll include it in the social media post. If I don't, just so nobody's shocked, if you put it in the comments, it's going to be taken down. 5 o'clock Monday, you literally have to just send me the damn poster. That's the minimum. But it's not handy to know who's on the card if your poster doesn't tell me who's wrestling on the card.
Mm-hmm.
That's a helpful thing, just saying. Because I can't really write descriptions, talk about match or whatever if it's just a poster that says the date and the place. So that's how your poster gets out there, by the way, is just, if I have your poster, literally message me on social media, tappedoutpod@gmail.com, email me the poster, the card. Makes it super simple. Bam, I got you covered. But I didn't forget your show because I get that a lot. Hey, you forgot the show. I did not forget your show. You didn't send me anything. That's why it didn't get on there. So, again, we're going to put all that on our Patreon. It'll be free. I'll share it on social media. We'll be fine. I promise you. So, well, thanks for coming on, man. I wanted to catch up with you for a couple shows.
I'm glad to ever get to be on the show because I don't love anything more than Georgia Independent. It's besides my family, but then it's Georgia Independent Wrestling. I enjoy it more than just about anything else in the world. Then national wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and that's, we always say, we're big fans of indie wrestling. If we hope you are as well, the best thing is we always tell you, look, you can listen to us to try to support indie wrestling. We appreciate that.
Yes.
But that's not the best way. The best way would be check out the social media posts, listen for the Tapped Out show where we're doing the Making the Drives here for the next at least few weeks, and we're covering all that kind of stuff. Get in your car, drive down there, buy your ticket, or go online, buy your ticket early, drive to the show, get there, and then if you look around, we're not hard to miss. You will probably maybe just maybe you'll see us at the matches.
Yep.